Cropping up stockers, Zach the stock cropper coming to you on Saturday, August 22nd. It is a fantastic day here. We had a fantastic week with the project, but the biggest news of the week, I shouldn't say the biggest, some of the best news of the week is it finally rained. We got like 2 inches of rain last night. Some areas of our county got up to 3 or even more than that. So, you know, not a drought buster for us with how behind we are. That puts us up to about 14 inches for the year, but a huge boost. It's going to get this pasture really cranking for our third strip going and help fill the ears on the corn here and keep our soybeans pumping power into the pods. And so it felt really good to wake up this morning and hear rain hitting the roof for the first time for a prolonged period for a long time. So a great start to the weekend here at the cropper. So this was a really fun week this week, and I want to say thanks to all of our supporters while my sheep back here nibbles on my back. For all the folks that are new to the channel, we got a lot of new subscribers this week, thanks to a couple things that happened media-wise for us. So we had the Working Cows podcast, where I had about a 40-minute conversation with Clay Connery on his podcast on Wednesday or Tuesday afternoon. That dropped. And then we had our article that was run in Art Cullen's Storm Lake Times, which was written by Dr. Ricardo Salvador, my old college professor, who is with the Union of Concerned Scientists out in Washington, D.C. He penned a beautiful article for us, and we got a lot of traction. We got picked up by Civil Eats on Thursday. They publicized it, so thanks to them. And we got a lot more eyes on what we're doing, which is a lot of fun. So because of that, I'm gonna, maybe go back and re-explain some of the things. Yes, I know. Of what we're doing here this morning to just kind of summarize for people that are new to the channel. But it's been a fantastic week, and we're gonna keep churning here and bringing more fans to my brother here, the sheep. So for those of you new to things, this is stock cropping, and stock cropping is an alternative to monocrop row crop production. So in our system here, we have strips of corn interlaced with strips of an annual forage pasture mix that we graze animals on with our mobile barn, which we call the Cluster Cluck 5000. And this barn moves about 11 feet, which is the width of our pens, across the pasture, either once or twice a day, depending on how vigorous our pasture is growing, and which gives our animals fresh forage, either once or twice a day to come into. So we have sheep and goats out front that are our lawnmowers, our ruminants. We have pigs that come behind, and then we have chicken tractors, which I'll walk up here and show. They're really noisy this morning. They're really crowing hard. There's the pigs, and then our chicken tractors. So right now, we're not between the corn because we're on the end of the field turning in between row runs. So we've already completed 2 pasture runs. We've gone through about 600 feet of pasture so far, and we're moving into our third and final run of So why are we doing this? What's the thought behind it? Well, what we're trying to do is leverage the 2 different systems across, or I guess against or with each other, to end up with a bigger net positive result from an economic and an ecological standpoint. So this year, the animals will go through this strip here. They graze, they work the soil with their hooves and their beaks. They deposit manure. Next year, we will rotate the corn and put it where the manure was laid here in this strip, and then we'll move the pasture over here to where the corn was this year, and it kind of completes a perfect circle of self-sustaining nutrient cycling, and we're producing a really high quality meat product from our sheep and our goats and our pigs and our chickens that we're going to market directly to consumers. So that's it in a nutshell. There's plenty of videos in our backlog that if you want to go through and see full explanations of things like how we move the barn or some of the more details of the system, I encourage you to go back and look at that stuff. But that hopefully brings some of you that are new to the project up to speed. So for those that were watching our Facebook live stream last night, which for those that don't know, we do usually every evening. We usually start sometime between 5:30 and 7 p.m. You can find that by searching The Stock Cropper on Facebook. And we've got a camera system that we set up. We were going to set that up last night, and we were unloading a few things from the truck, and Jordan looked out and saw a badger moving between our last pasture run over here. And so that put us into high alert big time, because we built these chicken tractors pretty well, but I don't know if they're badger proof. But so far so good. We made it through the night last night with the rainstorm. We do have this protective apron netting to try to discourage them from coming up and digging underneath, but we're going to set up some game cams to around these things and keep a watchful eye out, especially to see if we have any additional predatory activity. We also may start butchering this week just to fend them off. These birds are getting to be plenty good in size, and it'd be better to harvest them before the badger does. So hopefully we will be able to circumnavigate that predator risk, but that's the risk of what we're doing, you know. And a lot of people have pointed that out. They said, well, your animals are gonna get eaten if you have them outside, you don't have them in a building, and that is a threat. But that's something that we've got to manage through, and we have some ideas for changing our chicken tractor design next year to make it so that it is more fortified to predators, because you can't afford to do this and lose a barn of birds in one night to a predator. So but yeah, more updates on that as we go here, but we will likely start butchering some of especially the roosters this week here. And for those of you that I've said it a couple times here, we still have chickens in this first group for sale. So if you would like to purchase some of the original stock cropper class of poultry, these Freedom Rangers look like they're going to be unbelievably good. I'm looking for it. I think might actually butcher one this morning, take home and throw on the Traeger tonight, and I might tweet about that. So anyway, that's the badger update with chickens. So again, that's the pasture run that we just came out of. I'll run over here quick so people can see what that looks like right now. So that's the wake. We're starting to get that to green back up, especially with this rain. We've got a lot of shoots that are going to come through here, and hopefully it will eventually turn back into what our first run is here of super tall stuff. So for those of you who've been following along, we have this is where the barn started. I'm standing in the spot that we launched on, I think it was the 13th or 14th or 15th of June, something like that. We have sedan grass here that is probably 9 feet tall, and I've got this thing held up at the top of my head level. I'm 6'3" as we march across. So we have a pretty good mix here that if we wanted to come back and graze this again, I think we will do that for sure. As I hold it up, you can see it gets less as we go further north in time, the closer we get to the barn, obviously. But it's nice to see that we did get some good regrowth that came back here. I think the plan is we're going to speed up or keep our pace. We've gone to 2 moves a day now to lessen the impact on the pasture itself, and so that means we will be through this run that we're pointing down. We should have about 15 or 16 days of grazing left here, and then we will come back into this first run, I think, again. So we're slowly figuring out what I think a realistic schematic and grazing plan would be for this system for next year. You know, we had no idea when we launched it how the grazing rate would, what it would be. We had to take some wild ass guesses, like I've said before, but yeah, we've learned a lot. We're going to change a couple key things that I talked about in last week's video, but I'm excited that this rain was huge, and this stuff should really take off this week. With we got a lot of 90-degree heat coming, so that rain was a miracle. And you can see the outside row corn plants, they've completely opened up for business. The leaves have relaxed and are reaching out for the sunlight now. They're not showing the drought stress like they were earlier, and hopefully we'll be able to pack these ears and have some tremendous yields in the corn as well. So that's it for this week. Thanks especially to anyone that's new to the channel, as well as our existing subscribers and supporters. If you like what we're doing, like the video, hit the subscribe button. We're really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Be fun to get that done yet this fall, because that would give us the ability to stream 24/7 on YouTube once we hit that mark. So if you're new and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Last thing I wanted to make mention of is we are going to have a stock cropper field day sometime in the first half of September, so that's coming up relatively quick. But our hope is to make or set a date at some point this week, and we will communicate that out probably via Twitter or Facebook, or we'll probably talk about it on next week's video. But we wanted to we've had a lot of requests for people to want to come and see this thing in person, and so we're going to open that up, and whoever shows up, we'll give a tour, likely later in the day, early evening or something like that, sometime in the front half of September. So stay tuned for that, and have a good rest of the weekend, and enjoy next week. Thanks for watching.